Welcome to the Chronicles of a Virgo Podcast, a podcast centered around uplifting and motivating others to be a better and healed version of themselves. Each week, we will dive into a hard topic pertaining to life experiences, mental health, healing, and even trending news. We may even have a few friends join us here and there. Now, here is your favorite Virgo host, Shakita Johnson.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Chronicles of a Virgo Podcast. And as usual, I'm your favorite Virgo host, Shakita Johnson. And happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's week and day is off to a fabulous start. And if not, just know that your girl is sending you lots of love and some positive vibes your way. And with that, please, by all means, have the best, fabulous day that you deserve, okay? So again, y'all, thanks for joining me back for another episode. And this is our last episode. We are wrapping things up for season 2 only, okay? Yeah, we are only wrapping things up for season 2. This has been a phenomenal season. It actually feels like it's been a little too long. But nonetheless, there was a lot of ins and outs of this season, some great discussions, some awesome, amazing guests, and there was a lot of healing done, okay? And we're going to get into some things. So before we get into it, we'll start off with a mental health check. So my mental health today on a scale of 1 to 5 is a 5. And I'm grateful for having balance. I am grateful for being at peace. I'm grateful for feeling whole within my body and for having all of my elements, mind, body, soul, spirit, in alignment and equally yoked with each other. Okay. And I say that because it's been a long time coming and it's just been a lot of different transitions and things that have happened around us in the world and in real life, you know what I'm saying, that can influence the body and the mind. And I'm just grateful that I've been able to just stay balanced and regulated within myself. If you're just hearing me or seeing me for the first time, I have started these mental health checks in the beginning of this season as a way to continue to hold myself accountable, to check in with myself daily or every other day or whatever, but to also encourage other people to check in with yourselves, have that internal dialogue, see how you're feeling, to promote healthy wellness and well-being, self-care, all of those good things. And even though life be out here lifing, sometimes life have us up by the chokehold, you know, by the collar, we have to still make time for ourselves. Some people are parents, caregivers. They may hold like a high position at work and people are dependent on you to stand in those titles every single day, wear those capes and those hats and do what they need you to do. But we do ourselves a disservice when we do not service ourselves. And that's mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. We can't pour from an empty cup. And my favorite, we definitely can't pour from a cracked cup. Okay, so we need to make sure our foundation is properly laid and we are taking care of ourselves. That's what it's all about, because when we take care of ourselves and our cups are overflowing, we're able to properly to provide to other people that need us. You know, we're able to open ourselves up as much as we can to give back and take care of whatever our responsibilities are. So again, with this last episode, I encourage everyone to continue to check in with yourself. Have those daily intentional conversations with yourself. You're not crazy to talk to yourself, okay? You heard it here. But also if you believe in a higher power, God, whatever, get into your word, you know, get into your prayer with yourself and just really create that foundation and that solitude with yourself so that you know that you're guided and that you're protected. Like that has done blah blah blah. That has done wonders for me, but also just have helped me just to give back to other people when I feel like I can, you know, because you don't want to give too much and then overdo it. And that is okay. That's about having boundaries. But yes, that is the mental health check. Shout out to everybody that continues to do the mental health checks, that have come on the show, that have opened themselves up to talk about mental health and just their personal development. And for people that reach out to me, whether it's daily, weekly, however often, to do mental health checks and make sure that I'm okay. Like, I appreciate y'all. And I always send out random mental health checks, whether it's on social media or it's by text, because I really do care about people and their well-being. But I also don't give more than what I can tolerate, you know? So again, continue to check in with yourselves, okay? So yes, let's get into some things. So, like I said, this is my final episode of season 2. This is episode 28, I believe, of season 2, and episode 53 overall. Like, never in a million years would I think this little light-skinned girl from Baltimore, Maryland would have a podcast, but yet have 53 published episodes, okay? And I don't know how many videos I have on YouTube, like, but, and I always meditate on where I was last year. And I do that because when I'm feeling in these good moments, I'm like, man, where was this spunk last year? You know, my health was horrible. Mental health was up and down, a lot of grief and just a lot of chaos. And I cannot elaborate on how thankful I am to be where I am right now. Now, with that being said, I will never get in front of a camera, a microphone, or anyone and portray that I always have it together. Because no, sometimes I still roll out of bed when I don't want to. I still sit and stare at the wall because I just can't get my thoughts together. Or I just lay in bed because I just can't. You know, we have those moments. But to come from where I was just a year ago to now is so liberating within myself. And that just shows me that when you really keep going and just trust the process, you can literally conquer anything. Like, change is inevitable in my opinion, but growth is optional. We can choose to stay stagnant and stay where we are, or we could be like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna tie this up. I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of not being rewarded with my desires and manifestations that I want to bring to fruition. I need a change. And a lot of times it's us standing in our own way. We can point fingers at everybody else and blame everybody else for why we're stagnant in our life. We can blame everybody else for why our social medias are not growing, our shows are not growing, or we're just not growing as individuals. But overall, we create that foundation of growth. And it always starts within. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at where I am now compared to just a year ago, I can't necessarily say that I didn't want to change or I didn't want the growth, but it was so freaking hard when I was so fixated on everything else and trying to keep everything else together, you know? And I feel like when you really take a step back and look at the bigger picture, and sometimes we try to weigh the option of, is this worth it? Right? Is this podcast worth me continuing to go? Like, do people legitly listen? Or do you just press play and say, I'll give it 5 seconds and I turn it off? Like, do people really take something from the show? Like, does my voice really hold some type of magnitude? And at the end of the day, I will never know the answer to most of those questions, right? I will never know the hundreds of people that may listen to an episode week in and week out, or the people that may view videos, or people that may leave anonymous comments. However, what I do know is my platform that I am continuing to create is helping. And that's just by messages and things that I've gotten from people and the lengths that I know my voice has already reached, right? With me having 2 magazine publications based upon me having this podcast, with me having different meetings with different media sources that want to feature my platform, my podcast on their platform, radio stations, and just so much other opportunities, some in which I have passed up because I believe that even though change and growth is good, sometimes you're just not, you don't know when you're ready. And sometimes, like, if you get a gut feeling about something, I'm always about intuition and going with your gut. You feel me? Nonetheless, this season has been so freaking rewarding in itself. And it's never been about me. It's never been about necessarily the people I bring forward to tell their stories or to give their expertise. It's always been about who's on the receiving end of this information. Who needed this message today? Because a topic may come to me and I'm like, I don't know why I'm being directed or guided to talk about this, but someone needed it. Or why am I emphasizing more around this specific theme opposed to this, right? And one thing that this season helped me do was think out of the box more, get engaged in other areas of conversations that I probably wouldn't have been open to when I first started. And when I first started, I did the whole candid conversations. I just didn't do any this year because after my move, things kind of shifted or whatever, but I will get back to them. But with my candid conversations in the beginning of the season, I was able to have conversation about navigating the dating world with my besties, Jazz, and Abby. Shout out to them. And that was a really healing conversation in itself, talking about dating and just talking about just self-development and just like your internal voice and different things, because it helped me really realize just I'm not the only one that has the same thoughts when it comes to like meeting people and just putting myself out there, but also like dating is intimidating in itself. And I mean, that whole conversation opened up so much more dialogue just than just the podcast, you know? And I'm grateful for that. And we were able to bring other people in to get their perspectives. Like we had C from Sports Talk with C, shout out to her, came through with her being a female that is in a same-sex relationship. She came from a different perspective. And then we had some men that came in and got a little controversial because, you know, sometimes men just think they know everything. But what that controversial conversation did was take us to a healing space and like, okay, so maybe we do need to check ourselves in these areas or add to this or take away from that. Overall, it was just a good dialogue and it went beyond the podcast. And that just felt so good. Like I created that. The idea came from somewhere and I had to like continue the mission, and I'm glad I did that. I had the right people beside me to carry that mission out, and I received tons of feedback from it, you know. And it's the conversations like that, some of the conversations that people push away from having. um I've had so many people come on and they talk about their own personal traumatic experiences for the first time. And it was healing for them to openly talk about it. And then they may have went back to their own platforms and talked about it at some point, you know, but just them having the courage and the vulnerability to speak about it on my platform to me and my supporters, it meant a lot because I was like, wow, like, you know, and that not only that, like me going to other platforms talking about, you know, my healing, my mental health, my sexual assault journey, all of those things. If you'd asked me these questions years, like a year or two ago, I probably have been like, no, I don't want, this ain't it. But like when you're on the right path and like you are leading from a true, authentic heart space, in my opinion, things start to like flow together. People are placed on your path that are in alignment with you, and like all of those missions and different things will be achieved in the right way. And that's what this season has been about. Um, I've had a amazing social workers and therapists and life coaches and authors that have come on that have talked about their healing journeys, and they have talked about their personal expertise. And initially the season started about, we went in hard. We started off hard going with self-care and therapy because so many people my first season was against therapy. I was like, wow, like I come from a mental health psychology background. So the majority of people that I have met prior to podcasting, they either in therapy, tried it, or they're therapists or social workers, and we know the benefits of it. So coming into this other environment and everybody like, no, I don't trust it. And I knew that was me at one point. And the fact that like, I have successfully been in therapy, I'm like, no, like, listen, we got to break these barriers down. We got to stop. We got to somehow stop this stigma and this stereotype around mental health and just help. And of course, this mission is bigger than me, and I'm grateful that God placed people on my path that can help me get the word out, and that's what I continue to just vibe with. So I've had some amazing therapists, Shay Williams, Susie, Tanisha Johnson, all come through and they shared their expertise, but most importantly, they also shared their own personal battles, whether it was with some type of traumatic experience in their life, low confidence, negative self-talk, or something else that they've went through. And then from their perspective as a therapist or a social worker, they also shared other alternatives that people can resort to if you're not ready for therapy. And I feel like that was big because as a licensed individual, you want people to get professional help, but you're also aware that some people's experiences are different. So what do? You promote other alternatives, and that's what they did. So if you haven't checked out those episodes, please by all means do so, because they were amazing and they were very helpful. This season just opened up a lot. We had the Protect Black Women episode, and that was with Shay again. She came back to get another dose of Chronicles of a Virgo. And also my good sis Shantae from Sipping with Shantae podcast, did a whole Protect Black Women podcast. And that episode was the first one that I posted on YouTube for the year when I launched the YouTube page and stuff. And it was also the only video and reel on YouTube that got so many negative comments and thumbs down. And at first I was like, oh, I'm deleting this. I'm not doing this. No more YouTube. But then I really sat and I just was like, our mission is being completed, because the purpose of the episode was to speak as Black women about our Black experiences and to also try to reshape the stigma around Black women in the Black community. Now, being that I'm a Black woman, I can only speak on Black woman experiences and my experiences. And what I realized from this whole dialogue was my experiences are way different from the other individuals that I had on my platform, which will always continue to open up more doors for more conversations to be had. And then with receiving some of the feedback from random people, trolls probably on YouTube, I'm like, this is proving our point. You know what I'm saying? Nonetheless, those comments have been deleted and people have been blocked because I don't have time for all that. Like, I don't have time for all that back and forth. Like, that's not what I do. But in the future, I wish to hold more spaces like that. Some conversations, people recommended stuff. I wasn't personally ready to have the conversations around that, or like colorism and stuff. But moving forward, I plan to. So if you are somebody that wants to dive into one of them panels, please let me know. So it was very moving, right? We also throughout the season talked about the negative self-talk. We talked about the low self-esteem. What does it really mean? How does it develop? How trauma creates our personality and characteristics and how we feel about ourselves. And we talked about all of those things and how we can rebuild ourselves back up. We talked to people who have been in domestic violence relationships. Shout out to my sis, Leanne from Watch Us Thrive podcast. They came through and told her story about her domestic violence relationship. Overall, again, all of the things I just stated were from people that have lived these experiences, and they are now using all that pain for their greater purpose. They're using all those wounds for wisdom to inspire people, and they're using their voice a voice that they didn't have at that time, to be a voice to voiceless people that cannot speak for themselves right now, are not ready to speak on their situations, but they are using their voice and others to empower them. Or if me empowering you through my voice will never get you in a position to want to speak because you may feel like it's too personal, in your mind, mentally, you're grasping the understanding that my lived experience does not dictate my future. And I know I've said that all the time, but it is such the truth, because if I still had the mentality that the victim Shakita had just a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, I wouldn't be here in front of you guys, or listen, or you wouldn't be listening to me just speak this testimony now. There's no way. There's no way. Like, I'm so hard up about myself with being in that victim mentality. And I kind of am with my friends too. Like, we got to let that go. We got to let it go, because this victim mentality is not going to get you nowhere. And it may get you the pity that you want. And it may or may not, but overall, like, that does not have to dictate where you go, where you see yourselves, but it can be a reflection of who you are at that time. And I'm grateful that people came on this season and talked about all them things, talked about releasing the baggage and the negativity. Shout out to my girls, Nikki and Angel from Kicking It With Your Girls podcast. We talked about that. Shout out to my girl, Francie from Life with Francie podcast, that talked about her transition from Puerto Rico to United States. And she's another person that told her story about her trauma and things like that on my platform. And to just listen and even think about some of the people that came on and talked about things at that time, and then to see them now, and it's only been a couple months, like, it is amazing. Like, shout out to all of y'all. Like, I appreciate y'all expertise in the areas that you guys are in, whether it's a coach, content creator, podcaster, therapist, social worker, whatever. I appreciate it. And for you coming and offering that to me and my supporters. But most importantly, I appreciate your vulnerability, your confidence, your thrive to just be better humans, because it takes one to know one, right? And everything that you guys are doing to pour into yourselves and other people, it is not going unnoticed. It is not going unnoticed. And I may not be your biggest cheerleader, but I appreciate you for just doing the work on yourself. I do. And again, I appreciate you for just continuing to spread awareness around healing, around mental health, around trauma. Like, all of these things are so important. And don't get me wrong, some people may not want to sit and talk about these things all the time. Like, personally, working in the field, it does take a very strong-minded individual, not only to talk about it, but to not let it affect your daily life, Like, that's how energy works. So for people that continue to talk about it day in and day out, like, give yourself a pat on the back, because it's a lot, it's a lot. Y'all heard me do a whole series on sexual assault awareness. Initially, that was not even planned. God put that on my spirit, and I had to be obedient and carry out the mission. And I'm so forever grateful for it, because the relationship and the bond that me and my mom have built since then has been phenomenal. It's a blessing. It's a true blessing. If only y'all knew what was going on, like, prior. It was a blessing. And shout out to Big Lisa for that, for coming through and just being honest. She didn't even know, like I said before, any questions or anything that was going to be asked, but she was just in her vulnerable state, and she was honest, and I appreciate that for her. So much healing. Shout out to Anoon for coming through and telling his sexual assault story. And I really appreciate him, because, or any victim that has the courage to speak, but as a man, like, a lot of men don't speak on it. A lot of men don't speak on it. And like I said before, me and Anoon have been able to connect in a different level when it comes to just healing and stuff. So I appreciate him for a lot, because everyone don't have that courage. Like, I never thought that I would have the courage to continue to talk on the microphone every week, but I do. And I'm going to stick it out as long as God has me in this seat, you know? So for anybody that I missed, please don't charge it to my heart. Like, I appreciate everyone that has collaborated with me, all the connections, even people that hop in my DMs want some slick stuff sometime, you know, throwing a little shade. Shout out to Zion from All Over Podcast because he played too much sometimes. But it's those connections and things that you make with people that will like last a lifetime, you know. And Zion has been on the podcast so many times, and he probably will come back next season. Um, that's just how it is. But again, in all seriousness, like I truly appreciate just being able to be platformed and have this podcast and to do what God has me to do. And thank you to everyone that supports me. Like, I wish I could see every specific person that listens to an episode, all the hundreds and whatever people that like post and just listen. And whether you listening, I don't know, you never say anything or you don't follow me on social media or you follow me from a fake page, whatever the case is, shout out to you, because the show wouldn't be possible to continue to flow without listening support, for one, you know. Nonetheless, the support I get on social media, like, I appreciate that. um if you are not following me on social media yet, please, by all means, come follow me. Tap in with your girl either on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's my real account. But Chronicles of a Virgo podcast on all of those social medias. Even though this is the last episode, I still will be posting content throughout the summer and stuff up until my new season launches. So you want to stay in the know with me, just make sure you follow me on one of them. And also on YouTube. Like, if you're not following me as of today, hearing my voice on YouTube, please, please, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like I said, you can catch all of the second half of the season's videos and stuff on YouTube for the first half of the second season and all of the first half of the first season. All of those are on audio only. So whether you listening on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Good Pods, wherever you listen to your audio podcast, I'm all on there. You can watch me on YouTube, and now you can watch me on Spotify. So I'm trying some different things out to see, you know, what I like and what I don't. If you're a person that listens and supports, if you have any topics that you would like for me to discuss or any potential guest features, please reach out to me in my DMs or email me at chroniclesofavirgo22@gmail.com. Or if you're another podcaster or someone that is listening and you want to connect with me, come on your show or come on mine, hit me up, chroniclesofavirgo22@gmail.com, or slide in my DMs. Just reach out. You know, I'm always willing to connect with people that are doing something for the greater good, or just want to have a genuine conversation. If you want to get a little controversial, we can take it there, you know, as long as we keep it appropriate. But I'm just trying to continue to just build this positive community and to just promote healing and self-development with not only myself but other people, you know. So if that is you, please, please, please tap in with me. And I said I wasn't going to hold you guys long, but before I go, I mentioned Good Pods, and every week or so they do like this ranking, and I really try to not fixate on rankings, numbers, downloads, none of that stuff. I check it, but I have to take a step back from it because I didn't get into this for none of that, right? My mission is bigger. Like I said, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than the numbers, bigger than downloads, bigger than any amount of money that I'm bringing in, whatever. But Good Pods is like a more of a, I consider like an independent app, but it features like independent podcasters. A lot of us are trying to navigate this environment, find our way, meet new people, whatever the case may be. We're all at different points in this journey. And I somehow have connected with some amazing people, some have which have come on my podcast for this season, some of which they're just genuinely nice, have genuine caring hearts, and they support my show. They shout me out. They leave awesome reviews because that's what you can do on Good Pods. And the support and the encouraging words, the DMs, the Twitter messages, Instagram, they just sit a little different, right? When it's people that don't really know you and they just come through with a message and stuff. And I sometimes feel bad because I feel like I used to do like my shout outs and stuff like that on Instagram a lot, and I got away from it because it was just a lot. Things were just so time consuming. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys some other dope shows, despite the ones that I have collaborated with on this second season. Like I said, you can go on social media and find all of their posts, all of the descriptions, have everybody's show that I've collaborated with, tapping with all of them people. But the Good Pies people specifically, I wanted to like show because they have supported me, and a lot of them I just touched bases with recently, and they've been phenomenal because you can see like it's a nosy app, but anyway, you can see like who listens to what, when, where, and people have really gone above and beyond to just show support, and I appreciate that. And they, like I said, they always show support to me, and I show support when I can. But I wanted to show y'all, and I say show because again, if you're watching me on YouTube or Spotify, my screen is going to change. Hopefully your girl do this right. But I want to show y'all some of the shows that I have found on Good Pies. People do ask me too, like, hey, who do you listen to? Whatever. Besides people that I do post or collab with, I wanted to show y'all some of the other people on Good Pies that you may not know about and want to go check out. I encourage you to go check them out, okay? So guys, take a look at the screen if you're looking on YouTube or if you are looking on Spotify. Okay. So again, I have the app is a lot of independent podcasters and stuff. Some mainstream people, but like the independent shows are honestly is some great shows on there as well. And this is to take not to take away from any of the other, amazing podcasts that I have collaborated with or people that I have met. But these are just some. These people are amazing. They have some dope shows. I personally foresee some of their endeavors and careers going extremely far because of the messages and just the knowledge and wisdom that they are pouring out into the community, okay? So if you are seeing this, please, please, please go wherever you're listening to your podcast, go tap in with them because they have some amazing shows. Like I said, I've only connected with 2 people, maybe 3 on this list so far, but I look to collaborate with some more with my upcoming season, or if they want me to come on their show, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Ken Lifestyle Podcast, Big Brother Advice, Visit Vegas Places with Coil, Catch These Vibes with my girl Charmonique, The Things About Us podcast, they are dope. What is TWS? Dope show. All these are just amazing dope shows. Conversations with Kinfolk, Bold Talk by Joe, Pedals of Support, The Red Dove Podcast, Vital Chats with P, Inspiriting with T, Daily Dose of Love with Tasha, and my Virgo sis, Victoria J, 12th Street Talkback. Again, this is not to take away from any other shows or people I've collaborated with or that has been on this season, but I wanted to personally show these individuals because they're on Good Pods and everywhere else, and they have showed phenomenal support to me. So I just wanted to show this little creation, that I kind of conjured up or whatever. But please go check out their shows, y'all. Again, I haven't collaborated with nearly half of them, only 2 of them, 3 of them on this list. And like I said, if you go to my social media, you can find all of their links and all that stuff. But those individuals that was just on the screen, please go tap in with their shows as well. If you're following me on social media, I will do my very best to continue to show love to y'all because y'all show love to me. If you again want to connect with my upcoming season, reach out to me, even if you want to do a live, because I did some lives this season. I only did a couple. Shout out to Antonio and Chris. We did some lives on Instagram. Those are also still on Instagram and they're on YouTube, so you can go watch them. You want to do an episode, you want to do a live something, some community service, holla at your girl, It's always a vibe over here at Chronicles of a Virgo Podcast. And again, none of this will be possible, of course, without the man upstairs, God himself. Just continue to just lift me in prayer, y'all. I will continue to just pray for each and every one of you guys and send positive vibes and love your way. But also, this platform itself wouldn't be without you guys and your phenomenal support. So thank you so much for that. It does not go unnoticed. I appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart so much. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this month of May. Remember, it's mental health check. Continue to check in on yourself, okay? You need to reach out. Find that trusted person that you need to reach out to. I'm going to continue to post my positive messages and stuff on social media. So please, like I said, follow me, Chronicles of Virgo, all the social media and YouTube. I think I said all this already. Probably rambling now. But your girl is out for season 2, another season of podcasting in the bag. I hope you guys really took something from this season. And again, thank you to all of my wonderful guests that come on this season that have supported me, and they have poured into my supporters, and not only my supporters, but me, and for my supporters that are listening. All right, I am really rambling. But again, stay tapping in with your girl. And remember, like I always say, please take care of yourself. But most importantly, be kind and take care of each other. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Chronicles of a Virgo podcast with your favorite Virgo host, Shakita Johnson. I hope you enjoyed and will join us back next week as we dive into more candid conversations and topics. Please be sure to subscribe to our show and share with all your friends and family. And don't forget to drop us a star rating and a review. Please be sure to follow us on social media, in which all links will be in the box below, and on our website at chroniclesofavirgo.wixsite.com. Thanks again, and see you